Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel. It's super early here. I just basically got up and I started making, I saw this recipe and I was like, let's make it. It's chocolate banana bread. And y'all, it was so easy that I'm like, I have to share this with you guys. I will obviously put that information down below, but let's get started. This is the prep time is only 10 minutes. And it's 45 minutes to bake. I have one in the oven, but I have enough bananas here that are getting kind of icky that I need to just go ahead and make a couple of extra loaves, and I'm gonna take some over to my family. So I'm gonna share with my Aunt Sharon, my Uncle Tony, and then I'm gonna take some over to my parents. So let's get this started. This is gonna be super simple, super easy. Alright, so it's 3 bananas, and this is, you can just put this all in your mixer. It's actually nice and cool outside today for Florida, which is kind of an unusual event for us, so it's really nice. And y'all know, once it gets below about 60 around here, we'll put on sweaters and jackets, and it's chilly to us. To me, in all honesty, if it gets about 70, I'm usually putting on a little bit of a sweater. Most people will be like, that's super nice. And I'm like, it's a little bit chilly for me. So, alright, so 3 bananas. It's 2 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and use my bourbon vanilla that I made. Y'all see I'm almost out of this. I got to make some more. And no, I don't measure. If y'all have watched me for long enough, you know that I don't measure anything. Alright, it is going to be 1 tablespoon of vinegar. I'm going to go ahead and use the apple cider vinegar. This is from Kirkland's. I didn't measure that. That was a little bit more than it probably should have been. Alright, we're going to need 1/4 cup of milk. I have already made this recipe, so this is open. I'm going to use this coconut milk from Whole Foods. That was probably more like 1/2 cup. A little bit spilled out. Alright, we need 3/4 cup of maple syrup or honey. I think I already put that up, so let me get that. Alright, here's the maple syrup that I'm going to be using. We got this at Costco. Which this is better for people that honestly have like diabetes and stuff, and because regular white sugar is going to be a little more difficult for them to break down. My fiance and my aunt both have diabetes, so alright, and we need, so I'm going to go ahead and like gently mix this. Alright, so you just don't want like big chunks of like banana in there, and that banana is not as soft as it could be, but it's soft enough that you don't really want to eat it because it's squishy. Alright, so I'm going to use, this is about a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to add a little bit of ginger. It doesn't call for that, but y'all know I like the ginger. Plus, with the change of seasons, for people that I know really don't get a lot of ginger in their life, I want them to have that ginger because it's just super healing and good. So if they're going to get a sweet treat, might as well throw an extra, you know, little bit of goodness in there for them. Alright, we're going to need 1 3/4 cup of flour. You can use almond flour. You can use regular flour. I just have some regular flour right now, so we're going to use that, all-purpose flour. 1 3/4 cup. That wasn't quite a full cup, so I went ahead and just kind of topped that off. And then you need 3/4. So go ahead and add that in. Alright, I'm just going to push that out of the way for now. All right, and then we want to add a half a cup of, you can use cacao or coconut powder. This is what we're going to go ahead and use today. You can get this on Amazon. I like to buy it in bulk just because, you know, like a bigger bag. Just because during the holiday seasons I do a lot more cooking. And so when the kids come over and stuff, you know, you can make brownies and all kinds of stuff with this. So it's a half a cup, so I'm just going to guesstimate, you know, a half a cup here. Give or take, right? This really isn't an exact science, and that's kind of why I like it. All right, so we're gonna need, if you want, you can add 2 to 3 teaspoons of some Dutch cocoa powder, but I don't have any of that. It'll give it that like kind of like a brownie feel to it, but that's okay if you don't like it. You'll just have more of like a fluffier bread to it. All right, we're gonna use 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Here's my baking soda that we're going to use. That's probably a little more than it should be. All right, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Here's the baking powder we're going to use. That in there. All right, and we can go ahead and just gently mix that up. Now you don't want to over mix this. You just want to make sure that this gets nice and wet. I probably could have like gently added all that in so I'm not getting all this like powder. All right, it was that simple to get that all mixed in. All right, so in typical fashion, I just pull it off with my hands. Yes, my hands are washed off the paddle. And I just want to make sure that it's all off the sides of the bowl. Here's what it looks like, and I have, see, it's kind of wet, but not like, it looks nice and super moist, but there's really no dry spots to it. So I just want to go ahead and add that in to my sprayed loaf pan. All right, so here it is in the pan. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to put a couple of Enjoy Life mega chunks of chocolate chips on top of it. Now you can use like mini chips or whatever you like. Alright, so you're going to pop this in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes. I have one in there now, which is really nice because I only have like a couple of minutes left on that one. So when I take it out and it cools, I will finish up and show you guys what that looks like. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of these today. And don't forget, if you need to, you could probably drop these in the freezer or do a little bit of, you know, break these down, and then you could have them throughout the week or put them in your kids' lunches or something like that. This will not last long in my house, and I know it will not last long in my other family's homes, so, or my neighbors. I'm going to share some with my neighbors. Like I said, when you have abundance and you are blessed, don't be forgetting to constantly bless other people. This will come back to you in the universe. I'm telling you, friends, be good to one another. I think we're losing that spirit about ourselves as a good humanity should do. We are just losing that connectiveness we're losing the spirit of giving. And as you can probably see over here on my oven, can you see it over here? Let's see. There it is. I'm already putting up my holiday stuff, so we are getting ready. Like I said, y'all know that I do Thanksgiving, but honestly, I am really not a big Thanksgiving person. I'm more of a Christmas person. I love decorating for the holidays, and so my Thanksgiving is usually just a combination of Christmas and Thanksgiving together. There'll be a couple of pumpkins around, but not like the holidays. I am already putting up my Christmas tree. Y'all know that I have the pencil Christmas tree. I really like that one because it's just nice and compact, and I put it over near our fake fireplace. And so, you know, like I said, friends, get yourself in that spirit, bring yourself some joy if that's what brings you joy, and just find some peace in life, because there is so much going on right now that the world is just crazy. We all know that. So we got to find some peace and joy. And a lot of times for me personally, I find joy in giving. And so just keep that in mind. All right, friends, I'm going to bring you back real soon as that bread is out of this oven. All right, friends, so the banana chocolate chip bread is completely done. I have already taken over, I had made one for my neighbor, so I walked that over, and then I took one to my other family members. I took one to my brother, I took one to my aunt and uncle, I took one to my parents. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure that you're sharing with people and just really giving them that love. You know what I mean? We all need it right now. You can see we've already been getting into this. This looks delicious. It tastes delicious. My fiance and I, we've already had it. But I'm going to taste it with you guys. I wanted to show y'all the final product. It's very delicious. I'm telling you though, if you have kids, you're probably going to want to add a little more sugar, because like I said, this is a low sugar recipe. And so you can really taste that. You know, here in America, we like to pile on the sugar. So, and it just tastes more bread-like instead of really being that sweet context that we're kind of used to. So here we go. It's delicious. Super soft, moist. You get a little bit of that banana taste. You have the hint of chocolate, but it's not overpowering. Something that I would have probably added, just for me personally, because I like it, you could add some pecans, some walnuts, add a little texture to this bread, and it will just like take it to the next level. And this makes really nice gifts just overall. So if you just want something quick, easy, and actually this is vegan, that's, you know, a nice gift to kind of give to people, or just to share, you know. And I have the dishwasher running because of course I cleaned up after my mess, and we're getting lunch going. We're doing some meatballs with some turkey and some ground beef, and then we have some corn. That's what my fiance wanted for his lunch today. So, you know, we're always staying busy, always staying on top of things. My next video, y'all, we got something in I'm kind of excited about. We're gonna be talking about hydrogen water. So I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. As always, love one another, be kind, and I'll see you guys real soon.